Hello, hello, and welcome back to Common Courtesy. I'm your moderator, Shawn Nicholas, aka Desire some more, and with me is Nicole Prue. What's up, girl? How
How's
you
it
doing?
going? I'm good. How are you? It's good to be back after
Yeah,
missing last week.
yeah. How are you feeling? Because you're
I'm
not
feeling
feeling
much
well.
better. Yeah, I mean, I was away for a couple of days at the beach, so I got to enjoy like the majority of that
Yeah.
before I kind of started feeling like death. So, but I still feel bad. I didn't want to come over and bring that into the group.
No,
Nobody,
but
nobody needs
we
that.
had so much fun with Adriana. Oh yeah.
Oh, I was
Um,
so sad to have missed her.
no, it was so much fun. She's an incredible energy, and she's a great mind, and her opinions. Like I just couldn't really. I love the fact that I got a chance to get her in the house and have a sit down and interview and hear what she had to say about some of the topics that we
She was
talk
great to
about.
listen to. I listened to the show,
Yeah,
and yeah, she has a great way of speaking. Very just like candid, sarcastic, funny, which is
and
obviously
we
what I get
learned a
along with.
lot. We learned a lot. I didn't know she went to school for like graphic design and everything, and a lot of it makes sense. But guys, we're missing Ashley. She's out of town. She went to
Tennessee to Bonnaroo.
Bonnaroo.
Yeah,
What? No, what's Bonnaroo? I don't. I
I've
am
never. It's
such. I
as
live
far
under
as
a
I
rock.
know. I do too. Believe me,
Yeah.
I live. But it's like a huge
It,
music festival, just like an outdoor. Like I think it goes on for a couple of days.
yeah.
Ashley would obviously she'll be able to tell us all about it.
When she comes.
I know she's been super psyched about it. So I hope she had fun. I know it was a long drive.
Right.
She's a trooper though.
Our girl Ashley globe trotting the world, but that's what you should be doing when you're young is to go
Oh
out
yeah,
and
I wish I had done like all that
experience
stuff when I
stuff.
was as young as her. Good for her.
Yeah. Oh, so I got this new book, something new that happened to me this week. I got this new book. It's from this series called the Shadowhunter series. It's written by this author. Her pen name is Cassandra Clare, and she wrote the first series called the Mortal Instruments saga. It's the first one was City of Ash. Yeah, City of Ashes, and it's all about these. Basically, they're like Buffy the Vampire Slayer type people, and they go out and fight demons, but they have like angelic blood, which gives them magical powers.
Love
Basically,
it. Love
like
everything about it.
super speed, strength, and stamina, and it's kind of like biblical, but it's not based in religion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
they
I've read
use
things like that before, and I feel like it makes it really interesting. It adds like a nice layer to all the kind of fantastical stuff going on.
Yeah, and what's cool about what I loved about it, because there's vampires, there's warlocks, there's werewolves. Um, what I loved about it was there's these gay characters in it, and I started reading this back when I was 21, right before I moved upstate. I was 21, and I found City of Ash, no, City of Glass. No, it was City of Ashes. Sorry,
I thought you said Ash earlier.
I
Yeah,
can
I thought you
never
did the
really.
same. Yeah, I
Well,
did that with the first
whatever.
one
It's City of something. But I remember finding the first book and immediately falling in love with it, and I've followed the series
too.
since
Oh, now you get
then.
to read. That's awesome.
So
That's great when books follow you.
this is a new storyline. It features my favorite two characters, the gay couple, because like I said, I really kind of honed in on the story because it makes it very relatable to me,
Relatable, yeah.
And I love Alec. The characters' names are Alec Lightwood and Magnus Bane, and one of them is like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer person.
I really like those names. By
Yeah.
the way, you can tell that. Like I can already tell there's good character
Oh
development
my
because
goodness,
you're like,
it is it's a soap opera, and Magnus is a warlock, so he has magic, and so their relationship is kind of forbidden because being a shadow hunter, that's what they're called. They're basically kind of like police, and like it's a political story as well, because there's a lot of politics. Because like there's a head of like the vampires and the warlocks, and the werewolves, and he's Alec is posed to be like the next head of an institute, like basically like a let's say like a governor of like a state or whatever of New York, and their relationship is kind of forbidden because he can't date a worlder, which is a warlock, someone like who has demon blood in them, and they kind of like fight for their relationship, and just the way the story plays out is very, it's like a Romeo and Juliet type thing. Like they come from different
yep,
backgrounds.
that's
It's
awesome.
fun. So I'm glad
It
I just
sounds really
started the book.
interesting, and I think I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah,
I
I
need a
just
new
started the
book.
book, dude, and I have stayed up reading it.
Oh, that's me. I'll
I
stay up
can't.
until 4 o'clock in the morning. I once read like 3/4 of a trilogy, the Divergent. When that came
Oh,
out, I read an entire one of the entire books, I think, in a day. I mean, it's not my proudest moment at all, but like if I really like something, I won't be
You
able
love
to put
it. No,
down.
I read the last Harry Potter book in like
Oh.
a whole night. I read it in the whole night, and I didn't make it to math class, and my teacher was like, "That's fine," because I did the same thing. Because it was the
I love when
final
people can
book.
understand.
We all wanted
Oh,
to know how it was
that
going
was
to
just
end.
that was just
The
got
story
me.
close to your heart.
Oh, so good.
So, in other news, we're going to be at Pride this weekend.
Woo!
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Angel Campos, for giving us the day off.
Thank you. But Nicole, you told me it's your first
It is,
Pride
yes.
event.
This will be my first, yes, ever Pride event. I mean, obviously I'm from Massachusetts, so this will be like my first. I got down here in June last year, so it's been a year. So I feel like this will be my first year really experiencing things after like the shock and awe of like moving and all of that stuff's worn off. But I mean, obviously we have lots of this stuff up north, but for me, well, particularly for me, it was hard for me to get to do a lot of things just due to my work schedule. But I know they have some really great stuff in Provincetown,
Yeah.
which if you've ever been, that's a super fun place. And I've only ever been there in the summertime, like not during the actual parade and stuff. So I've seen they deck the place out. It looks amazing, and there's just so much fun energy. But this will be my first time like being able to be a part of it. And
What
be
are some of
involved.
the things that you're expecting? You know, are there any expectations? Like,
No, you know, I don't really have. It just, I feel like it's undoubtedly like there's no way it can't possibly be a really, really amazingly fun time. So I'm looking forward to that. I feel like from what I've heard, it's just a laid back, like super fun celebration, and I feel like that's what it should be.
I went there last year. Because I haven't been to. I went to one New York Pride, but I didn't go to the other ones because I was always working.
Same.
I went to the after parties, it was because the parade's fun. The shows are gonna be fun. The whole weekend's gonna be because it's gonna be the parade on Saturday, and then on Sunday it's gonna be like the Pride Festival where they're gonna have like shops and things like that. I think that's gonna be on Central. I think, or maybe on Beach Drive, whatever. But so it's gonna be like the entertainment on Saturday. Friday night they're opening up. There's gonna be like a show opening up the event, and
Oh
then
yeah, I was going to
Saturday
ask
is gonna
about
be like
some off Friday night.
yeah.
Actually.
Well, there's gonna be an event Friday night, and then after that Saturday during the day it's gonna be all the shows which I'm gonna be in.
Wow!
I start at 2:20 at the South Stage. I forgot.
So
I can't say the
exciting.
name. I can't say the name of the stage. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh,
because
I was like, what is it? A secret?
no. I'm on the South Stage.
That works.
Along with a couple of my friends. Greta Grip's going to be there. Adriana's going to be there
Oh,
as
I'm
well.
excited.
She's performing.
Get to
I have
meet her.
some numbers planned. I'm pumped up and ready to like fuck this shit up, honey. Like I
Is this your
cannot
first time
wait.
performing
Yeah.
for Pride? That's
Yes,
awesome.
it is.
That
And
very exciting.
I think I hope you experience. It's like there's gonna be this communal feeling,
Camaraderie.
camaraderie. There's this feeling of everyone's here together to celebrate it. And the fun thing is, I wanted to bring Pride up this because it is Pride Month. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
I was on Facebook and a friend of mine he was talking about. We'll get into hot topics in a minute, but
Right now, these are the hot.
right now,
topics.
these are the hot topics. I was on Facebook, and a friend of mine was saying, like, why is there a gay pride, whatever, whatnot. And it was a little bit reminiscent of another friend saying, like, why are we celebrating Black history? And I wish they kind of get the meaning behind it is not about, like, oh, I'm proud to be gay. I mean, that's part of it. But it's more or less celebrating the people who have died, because everything started back in, like, I think the late 70s and Stonewall, because they were done being basically what African Americans went through, the mistreatment by the police coming in and raiding their bars and ruining their fun and arresting people. They were just done with it, and they started to fight back. And now, I mean, all since that started, all the things that we've achieved as a society, like gays can get married now, we can.
Right. It's a celebration of the fact that it's still not easy, but it's easier now than it was, and
Right.
it's celebrating all those people who got you here, who paved the way, who broke down the doors, so that people who are being born now can enjoy even more of that freedom and maybe not even know what it was like when it was
Yeah.
difficult, which is the goal. But there's always going to be people who need to remember that it wouldn't be that way if it weren't for certain
Because
individuals.
we were talking about this earlier, like a lot of young kids, which is not no fault. It's actually what we want.
Exactly. Yeah, which is what I was just saying. It's
We
no
were saying
fault of
there's
their
some-
own, but it's still important to learn that we have these people to thank. We have there's people behind it that did fight the way to get us here.
Yeah, and because and I understand. I mean, because like there's some people, young kids out here who don't really. They live. They're like, oh, I'm. They can say like, I'm non-binary. I'm this. I'm that. They can say all these things because they live in a world now that no one's really ostracizing them. I mean, maybe it's a different form of it, but it's not.
There's
like,
always going to be some form of it, but there's so much pushback against that now.
Right.
That it doesn't reach as many people. I can't really put into words what I'm trying to say, but there's a freedom to be more open and enjoy
just be
it
who you
more.
are,
To
yeah.
just be yourself and not have to fight so much because of all the fight that's already happened.
The funny thing is we live in America and it's a free country and it's supposed to you can literally do whatever you want. And that's why people do immigrate here because they want a freedom to achieve the goals they want out of life, and I find it funny that we're having all this immigration reform problems right now because everyone's like, oh, I don't want these people coming here and taking our land. I'm like, well, that's how this country started. People taking things from people, but that's
really want to get down to it.
I mean, if you want, but that's in the past. But that's why people want to come here, and that's what this country's for. And it's so funny that someone, I can't remember who it was, but this guy made this really insightful statement. He said, America's the only country where you have to fight for equal rights. And I'm like, that's so true. It's so true. Like, we
have the rights, but
we're
gonna just
they're doing rollbacks on abortion rights right now, and
we're backpedaling a lot. I feel like.
So interesting enough, being that it's Pride Month, a little story that we saw in the news. I didn't know that the Trump administration banned embassies around, U.S. embassies around the world. They banned them from flying the Pride flag.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Last year, from our sources, last year they put that in effect. And so, as me and Nicole are looking up hot topics, we found out that a lot of people found funny because they can't hang. The rule is they can't hang it on the flagpole. They can't hang it on the flagpole. So what they did was they found different
loopholes.
ways. One of them. What was one of them?
They had one of them. They had a projection of what it would look like on the side of the building,
right.
And then another one. Everybody, and I was thinking actually about the organization that had to go into this, but they had everybody in the office wear rainbow colors.
Yeah.
And then they all stood outside and held rainbow balloons and took
then
a picture.
someone hung a flag outside the building. I'm like, hell yeah, fight the power.
Good for them. Yes, absolutely.
But
that's what it's about.
I don't understand this administration. We're going to get into Trump this episode because there's a lot of things that he did this week that
doesn't it seem unwise for him to do something so freaking intolerant right now in the midst of all that? It's like he's just piling shit on. Piling and piling and piling. The more that comes out, he's like a whack-a-mole.
Right.
He says one stupid thing and nobody's even trying to do anything about it anymore.
I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny. But
no. Well, it's one of those things where you have to laugh because it's so completely ridiculous.
Well, it's kind of like if you think about it, Nicole, it's a smoke screen. If you think about it, if you distract people so much, because right now the Mueller report is out, and the general consensus. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't finished reading it because I'm reading my new story. I'm sorry.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, but
we're trying though.
We're getting there. So what I was saying, the general consensus of what I read, I got far into it. Basically, they're trying to figure out if he obstructed justice and was there any, conspiracy with Russia, and they proved it. Yes, there was a Russian meddling, and they can't. The whole general rule from the Department of Justice is they have a rule that they will not indict a sitting president. So this Mueller report is to go to Congress and the Senate for them to impeach him, because once he's impeached, you can, indict him. But I don't think they should impeach him. Well, how do you? Well,
You know, I know I have
I'm
mixed
getting off
feelings on that
topic.
too.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I know because I
Well,
was just like, I'm like, I have mixed feelings about that too. But anyway, I mean, we can get into that.
in a second, but um, well, let's go ahead and do it because how do
Fine.
you feel about if we impeach the president? Do you want him to be impeached, or would you rather wait until 2020 until we can vote someone else into office?
My fear is that, and I've heard, I can't even really quote it. I've heard it in a couple of different, at least one of the podcasts I listened to, and I've just heard little whisperings like about the fact that if he doesn't win by a large enough margin, that he's not going to easily give up the presidency.
Right.
And when I heard that, I was like, that's mind blowing to me. Like, you can't, the fact that we're like, okay, a new election, there's an election coming up, we just got to make it through. We have a giant, whereas last time we had this little bitty pool of like nothing. It looks like we're going to have a good pool. We're actually going to have an interesting, interesting
choices.
debates and interesting choices, but it's really terrifying to think of the fact that he could fight it. And look what's happening now. He's gotten away with so much, and there's so much just looking the other way that if he puts a big enough fight, maybe he wouldn't win it overall. I don't think if that was the case, but it could delay things. It could delay things and fuck more shit up. God knows.
I don't understand that. Like, sorry,
No,
I understand that. Why, after all this information is coming out, because like, literally watching the news, I don't understand how people can see the facts and just ignore as to what's going on. Like this interview he just did with George Stephanopoulos. I don't think they aired the entire interview yet because it was a 2-day interview.
No, and I think that we watched a few of it and it was mostly the same clip.
Yeah. But that clip's been generating so much,
because it's insane.
So in this clip, what happened was Trump if you haven't seen it, Trump was talking to George Stephanopoulos, who's a very famous reporter on ABC. He said the question was if you received any opposition information about a political candidate, an opponent, if you got any Oppo research from a foreign power, would you take it? And he literally said yes.
Yeah, why not?
Well, his exact words are kind of like, he goes, yeah, why not? I mean, like, maybe, and if,
somebody offers you something, you're going to take it.
Yeah, but he also said, like, he said he wouldn't, and he wouldn't tell the FBI, but if he saw something wrong, he would. He literally, so making that statement, as I heard it, I don't know how you feel, but as I heard him say that, I'm like, you're literally saying that you've already kind of done this. I mean, it's not saying that, but I feel like as he said that,
the way he said it, that's what he
it
implied.
was too easy.
The tone implied that, and I'm sorry, I know you're not supposed to, but like, it was way too easy.
That's
exactly what it just flowed. Like, yeah, why wouldn't I?
And the whole interview is kind of crazy because we saw a couple of clips from this interview. And one of the things was like, remember the guy was like, I think it was Mick Mulvaney, the acting chief of staff, was like, he was talking to him, he was answering a question, and the guy coughed, and he's like, and Trump tries to talk, and he goes,
oh,
you know what? Can you? I'm trying to talk here, and I can't really answer this question.
He had already repeated his answer twice, by the way.
But you know what? He always kind of does that though. If you notice when he speaks, when he answers a question, it'll be like, he'll say oh, how do you feel about oranges? He goes, yeah, I love oranges.
Love oranges. I love oranges.
I do love oranges, and that's kind of like a power. That's like a thing.
It's like he thinks he has like a hypnotic power on people.
There's a way. It's a persuasion kind of speak.
Yes,
it
just sounds
as if you're telling the truth. Like you say it twice. But he asked Mick Mulvaney to get out of the room because he was coughing.
The
while he
poor
was
fucking
talking.
guy, I think they said like he probably was going to get out of the room right before you called him out on clearing his throat. Like it wasn't even like he was hacking. Like,
and this is ABC, and this is not even a part of the interview. Like this is like a blooper, if you will. But these bitches
it was totally informal,
right? And they are airing this shit. Like they are throwing so much shade to Trump, and I love it.
Yep,
I love it. But no, and then he tells George Stephanopoulos, I can't remember what he said, but it was something along the lines of, I don't know what it was about. I can't remember. But it was something like, he goes, oh, I told you about it, and I told you to fix it, and, and you didn't. But, it was a late night, so, And just the way he talks to
So
people.
blasé about everything.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's fucking demeaning.
Oh,
Like,
he's
who
super
the
demeaning.
hell are you talking to?
I mean, but I feel like we've always known that about him. I feel like he is literally one of the most demeaning, condescending
People-
humans on the earth.
Like it was like watching an episode from The Apprentice.
Yes, seriously, I think of that all the time.
Like every time you see him on
All
TV,
you're fired.
you're fired.
Remember the little.
But back to the subject of like, you know, so is this not treasonous or like is
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I want to like. I feel yes to some degree. I don't know enough to say like treason, but it's not good. It's not honest, and
Right.
everything about it just seems so unbelievably shady to me. And he doesn't ever really have a straight arrow answer. It's always these little like paths all around, like this little figure eight, where he says a lot of words, but he never really answers. Yeah, I'd take it. Why not? He very rarely answers a question full on.
because he answered yes and then it was kind of like a yes and no answer.
That way he can say, well, I didn't say that.
Right.
It's like this weird back door he puts in for himself so that he can go back later when people call him out on things and say, well, I didn't say that.
But no, but you know what? That time, I think we talked about last episode. He definitely called Meghan Markle nasty, and they were
that was like a
when they
huge
said,
thing.
literally
I can make
verbatim,
him say-
the guy's like, oh, so Meghan Markle said if you won the presidency, she would move out of the country, and he goes, oh, I didn't know she was nasty, and then he tries to backtrack on the Sun, and he's like, oh, I didn't call her nasty. I'm like, bitch, yes, you did. You said this on television. I mean, when I was talking to Adriana last week, she was like, I think it's like kind of delusional. I'm like, but that's not delusional.
I would love to call it something because I think it is. It's very delusional behavior, but I wish I could call it something as simple as like a mental illness. But I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm not going to say one way or another. I'm not an expert, but.
And just the amount of like lies and the tariffs on like China, and then he's threatening tariffs on Mexico, and it's just kind of like a snowball effect of things going on. And I think not because we want a Democratic president to like win, but because like no Republican opposition is coming out of the closet being like, I'm running for president, you know, blah blah blah, because Trump is bad. Like I don't understand like why they find it so hard to condemn him and saying like, you know, what you're saying and what you're doing is not our beliefs, it's not our values, because it's not. Last I checked, the Republican Party is the party of conservatism. It's the party of family values, you know, and very religious, and they are just turning a blind eye to all of this. And even like, you know, Sarah Hucklebee Sanders, when she quit, you know, I mean, I don't know if you ever watched her press.
No, I haven't.
I don't know if you never seen her press conferences.
I've seen clips of them, but I don't think I've ever watched Saturday.
I've only seen clips too, but like literally just watching those is enough to know like this woman's quitting this job because this is too fucking much. Like every damn week, this dude does some crazy shit and
She's like, I gotta get the
there's
hell
no
out of
one
Dodge.
on the leash. There's no one on the leash. Like why? Like they let this bitch call, and like he called into this show last week, responding to questions, and I'm like, that's not what you do as president.
Someone
People are
needs to
going to
babysit
criticize you. Like I being a drag performer, people criticize me all the time, and you take it, you know, either with a grain of salt or you know you use
You're
it.
an intelligent human being with rational logic and
Most
reasoning.
of the time.
Most of the time is enough.
It's enough, right? Because like common sense isn't that damn common. But there's no one with a damn leash saying like, yo, this is not a good idea. And then the Twitter shit is going on like every day he's got something to say about someone. But when Sarah Huckabee Sanders quit, the way she did it, it's just like, why can't you just tell the fucking truth? Dude?
Yeah,
like,
it was.
That's one thing I can't.
Or don't embellish so much on the untruths. Like, just say thank you. Like you were
Right.
saying before, just keep it classy and professional.
Yeah.
You can do that. Yeah, you don't want to say, "Oh my God, get me out of here. I'm gonna go jump in a lake." But you can just, you know, okay, thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Keep it short and sweet, honey.
just
You don't have to
leave.
make up a bunch of shit. Everybody knows you're full of it. It wasn't a good time. Like,
Because I just, that's the one thing I cannot accept about anyone anymore. If you're shady, you just cannot. I mean, yeah, there's a way you can be professional and quit, but like,
and still be real.
because like Joy Behar was like, she said today on The View, she's like, I love how everybody says, oh, he's accomplished so much, but they never name any of the accomplishments. Because I want to fucking know too now.
I'm interested.
I would love to know, because
I don't feel like a list of accolades from our president is a big thing to ask for right now, and it doesn't have to be long.
Well,
Give me
apparently his
5 things.
tax returns is something hard to get. It's hard to come.
I guess I'm
hard
not
to
going to get
come
my
by.
my list of achievements.
I just don't. It's the hypocrisy of this party right now. He's had 3 wives. He cheated with Stormy Daniels. We all now know it's to be true, and it's one thing after another. And it's like, how can we anyway? Moving on to something fun, because I just mentioned The View. I watch The View all the time. I love The View. I love Whoopi. She's one of my biggest inspiration as a performer. I love
awesome.
her.
I would I don't think about it a lot, but she's one of the people that I would like to meet if I could.
I would love to meet Whoopi.
I feel like she'd give me
Whoopi,
a really
we'd love
great
to
hug
meet you.
and like sternly tell me what to do with my life, and like I would feel bolstered by
Like,
it.
could you imagine like going on The View, like coming out and being like, and you like, how you like give everyone a hug, and then you sit down.
I would trip, but then after I got up, hey, oh.
So I love The View, and and I've been consistently watching it every day for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years now, ever since, maybe like, I think since 2015 or 2014, since the political debate started and whatnot, because they would always comment on what happened the night before, and it was how I kind of stayed in, like, the news. I would hear it on the View, and I would go read the article, and so one of my favorite characters one of my favorite co-hosts they just added was Sunny Hostin. She's a former prosecutor, and she's this Puerto Rican, I think she's mixed with Puerto Rican and African American, and or Jamaican, I think. Don't quote me, but
she's really gorgeous, whatever she is.
Gorgeous.
Like, I can't.
Oh, I love her.
She's one of those faces that you want to stare at. Like,
I love her.
Why is your hair somewhere?
When she first came on, Joy's like, hey, skinny bitch. Let's just call her skinny. But I love her.
She's got a really good, like, stern look too.
She does. Well, she's from I think the South Bronx. I think she's from South Bronx, or she's from New York, and what I love about her, she's so fucking real, dude. So they're talking about the Real Housewives of New York. One of the personalities, Bethany Frankel. She was having a meltdown. She was like yelling at someone. That part's not really important. But they were like saying, like, well, they were trying to justify her behavior. Like, was she justified in saying that, when she had all this shit going on, people didn't help her, or whatnot. They were saying, was she justified for blowing up like that? And while everyone's commenting, Sunny goes, well, they didn't want her to tell the story, but Sunny goes, well, I've seen her.
They're telling me in my ear right now.
Yeah. She's like, they're telling me I can't tell the story, but Sunny says, I've seen her act like this before. I've seen her with this behavior. So she goes on, after saying that they won't let her tell the story. They allow her to tell it. And she says what happens was her children were playing out on the beach. And apparently Bethany's house was like, she has a beach house, and her baby was inside sleeping with the window open. And apparently her kids were too loud, so Bethany came out and yelled at Sunny Hostin's kids and said, you're being too loud, my baby's trying to sleep. And Sunny got in front of her daughter and said,
adults speak to adults.
Hello.
Oh.
And the way she looked, and you know what?
That face, that look, I wish I could perfect that.
And you know what? So when we saw the story, I think the question is, what I wanted to ask is, does celebrity give you an allowance to go out and like just behave like any
an animal,
like an asshole?
No.
Yes.
If anything, being a celebrity means that you need to hold yourself to a higher standard.
A higher standard.
Because you're out there. Maybe you're not. Even if it doesn't matter what kind of celebrity you are, you're an example for somebody.
Exactly.
Set a good one. Act right.
Right. And I love.
You don't yell at somebody else's kids for playing on the beach at 2:00 in the afternoon.
That's one thing you never do. That is a gold, like an old damn rule. You never tell someone how to raise their damn kids. I don't say anything. I see, like, not well-behaved children everywhere. And
I used to work in daycare, so I've seen a lot of that.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
Same. My mom.
And that's a different situation. You know, if you have kids in your care, yeah, you have to discipline them. But if their mother's right there and you're just bitching because you leave your baby's window open when it's trying to sleep?
No, I don't think she should have went out and like said something like that. Like, I think maybe she's having a bad fucking day, but Sunny Hostin is not.
She sounds like she's always having a bad day though. From anything I've heard of this woman, she just needs like a very slight spark to get her fired up and into meltdown.
I don't really know her that well.
I don't I don't either. But just you showing me that, I wasn't surprised because I've seen clips and like little snippets of her. People make her into like memes and stuff about like freaking out.
Because she had a talk show.
Yeah.
She had a talk show.
I don't know. I don't think I ever saw any of that. But
all I've
heard is just like, yeah, she's good entertainment value. That's what she was really good at.
I just don't think, like, I think some people get to this place of celebrityness or whatever, and they just act like complete assholes. Like, allegedly, I heard Mariah Carey's like that too.
I've heard that too.
And
which really upset me because I was obsessed with her when I was younger.
Me too, but I bet everyone's glad that, her fucking performance for New Year's Eve, it's a couple of years ago when she was fucking up. I bet everyone was like this. Mm-hmm. Never forget.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Yeah, I know, you're so right.
Like, I've heard like a lot of like, big stars like that.
It turns me off, like, whenever I hear that about somebody I really, really like, and like, oh yeah, they're not a nice. It's just, you don't want to hear that about someone because why aren't you a nice person when you have so much? You're living 90% of America's dream. You damn well better be nice.
Well, even and like I heard like some drag performers are like kind of assholes too.
It's just like a diva attitude.
Yeah,
like you get to a certain point and you can either just keep being a good person, or you tip the scales. I don't know. I've heard stories, so I'm not gonna name any names. But I've heard a lot of stories about a lot of local drag performers in New York and Florida as well. Like, they are impossible to work with. Too big for their britches.
Like, either but you hear two sides of it. There's two sides of a coin. Like, you hear like they're like the best person in the world to this one person, and then another person like they're a total asshole.
Yeah.
So it's like either like this person's having a bad day, and you caught them on the wrong day, or they're always like this.
Yeah.
But I just never, I never want to get to that point where you expect everything, should be done for you. Like, I'm assertive, yes. But I realize there are other people in the world, and I have to,
You're assertive, like, you work. You understand that you have to work for what you want. And
right. But
you have no desire to step on somebody else to get where you need to be because you don't need to do that.
Well.
No,
I mean, I know you mean.
You're not, you know what, you're not, like, you're a grounded person. That's basically what it comes down to.
I think, that it's easier to work with someone who's grounded. You don't have to, appease them or run around tiptoeing, whatnot. Like, I can't believe, and Bethany Frankel, like, she's not Mariah. She's known for basically nothing. She's basically like one of the Kardashians who, I don't watch their show. I'm going to say this. I'm not throwing shade. It's not like I don't like them. I just
used
don't
to watch
really.
It back in the day, but it just kind of.
I don't respect watching the show because it's like reality television takes money away from like actual like scripted shows, like things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, things like that, like series, because
where people are actually working and learning a script and
creating a world,
yes,
rather than like just
creating characters and creating exactly.
drama, like, because like a lot of like I don't understand like why is it still so famous now, because it's like we all know that it's scripted at a point where like they're supposed to be at a party where you don't like this person doesn't like you, and for some odd reason
it just seems like it has so many negative connotations to it. Like, you put people in a situation and then you purposely cause turmoil and drama and then just see what happens. Like, that doesn't have any positive aspects to it.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's why I stopped watching them, because it kind of just eats away at you if you fall into that.
Oh, another thing before we go, I wanted to bring up like the fact that last week was the 3rd anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting, and condolences. My heart goes out to all the victims and the family, because it was 49 people who were killed in that scenario, and 53 people were injured. But out of that number, thousands were affected, because what we don't think about is that after something like that happens, a victim is a child, and that victim has a mother and a father, and that mother, and that it's a whole family, and that person has friends, and I remember hearing about it. I was sitting in Queens with my friend at her apartment. I was like, oh my god, I used to live in Orlando when I was 20, and I used to go to Pulse all the time, and it was one of my favorite bars, and
So much closer
you would
to
just
home.
never think. Yeah.
But yeah, you don't think that about your favorite places because that was like a safe spot. That was
Right.
like where you went to have fun and to not think about the outside world. So when it happens at a place like that, it's just not that it's more painful than anything else, but it puts a scar on so many things.
So many
I mean,
things.
just the principle behind it puts a scar on so many
Like,
things.
I couldn't imagine. Like, I just couldn't imagine being there. Like, good lord. Like,
can't
I've
either.
seen videos and things like that, and everything that happened that night, and I just cannot imagine going through that, or like being held hostage. Like, some people were held hostage for hours.
I
Until
can't even
the
possibly
police waited
imagine.
3 hours.
Yes,
Like,
I
to
do
go
remember
in,
that.
and they even said we regretted waiting so long. I'm like, yeah, because
You
people
think?
got killed during, like, he would shoot some people while holding them hostage. Like, maybe they kind of bomb rushed the place earlier. Like, I mean, I know they want to act in the best interest of lives. They
Right,
want,
but I mean, I don't know. And who knows? I mean, I wasn't there. I wasn't on either side
yeah,
of it.
I'm not a
but
cop.
It's just such a unbelievable tragedy.
Anyways, but I just wanted to like mention that because I don't want that to be
No,
forgotten
it's
because
especially not
it's
this month.
especially in this month, and also it was that's the FBI still won't classify that as a hate crime because I don't really think it was because I read it and I researched it and they found that it was that bar and another bar and it was like a straight bar, I believe. I believe. So it was just kind of like
Check our facts,
a
but-
hopping. It was a hopping bar. And it was
Right.
like
They
some
probably
little-
just they knew it was a busy bar.
But after that happened, there's a rule now that you can't bring backpacks in the bars.
I've
Like,
seen that in a lot of places.
I was working at a gay bar when that happened, and they added. My boss was like, "We're gonna add extra security," because everyone was scared.
Yeah. Oh, it's just
You know?
Yeah, because you don't feel safe in a place that you've spent so much time at, and
And you just think someone's gonna come in and shoot
I
the
can't.
place.
Yeah, I can't imagine the mental aftermath of living through something like that.
Right. Well, I sent an article as a story. I think her name was Patient. She wrote a book. She was a survivor. She got shot in the leg, and her like femur was shattered. Like, she had to learn how to walk, and she even like it took her years to get back to where she was. But I can't imagine being able to like live through that because she said she saw her cousin die in front of her, and her cousin was like the youngest girl. She was 18 to die. Like, could you imagine? Like,
No,
just getting out of high school, and the whole thing is
you're
like
not
this
supposed to see shit like that, right? Ever, let
ever
alone right after
in your
high
life.
school.
And the whole thing about this whole like mass shooting things, even after this happened, then Las Vegas happened last year, the year after, and then now we have like all these things that have been happening again, like Parkland. Like, I remember I watched Parkland as it was happening. I was like, holy! I was on the phone with someone. I was watching CNN.
It's kind of the point where and it's not even a crazy thing to be on the phone and have the TV on and just be like, what is going on?
There's another shooting, and I don't understand like why isn't like one of the things I think we should focus on in this election is gun reform.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that people can't own one, but like there has
Not
to
at all.
be
No, there has to be
stricter laws.
Something needs to change.
Because if other countries, like if Australia, they had a mass shooting once, and they literally got rid of all their. I don't know. They didn't get rid of all the guns, but they outlawed guns in their country. They had stricter gun laws, and now they have like literally zero gun.
Well, it's a
violence.
problem. There's laws, but there's so many backdoor ways to go and get a gun that's what needs to be tightened. Like, something needs to change.
America is
because
such
it's just the influx.
You know what?
Is unbelievable.
If you know what, I wish people would like really look into some of the laws that are in effect in this own country, because some of the laws that are written protect child molesters, rapists. Like, in some countries, some states, they can have parental rights, and I'm like, and I think to myself, I was thinking the other night, I'm like, why is that? Like, maybe someone who was in power is like did that to someone to make sure they can protect people. I don't know. Like some of the laws in this country is so backwards, and the fact that the mass shootings, the fact that no one's like, you know what, let's not repeal the Second Amendment. I don't want that. I think it should be modified because back then they had like little like muskets and shit. Like they didn't have like
Yeah, they didn't have the shit that we have today.
they didn't have like
that
like
took 20
machine
minutes to
gun.
reload
Right.
like, every time. No,
Didn't
it's
have this.
not even seconds.
And so I think one thing that I think people should really focus on is gun reform because really it's getting too much. It made because I was a little scared to like go to clubs.
I don't blame you. I think that's a really normal reaction.
Because there's only one, like some clubs only have one way out. You're like, oh shit, I don't know. But anyways, it's Pride Month.
Happy Pride. So on a happier note, happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Again.
So so like I said, we Ashley and Nicole and I will be there. I'm performing. Ashley and Nicole will be around doing interviews with people, basically asking, what does Pride mean to you? Like I said, I think Pride means we're celebrating the people that came before us, who gave. It's basically like the 4th of July. We're celebrating, everything that the people before us that made this country, who made a way for us as a gay man to be myself. So
yeah,
I'm really excited.
So here's to them.
Here's to them, and we're gonna be there. We're gonna turn it
so
up.
So excited!
Bitch. I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
So we'll probably do a special episode on like next Monday after all the festivities because it's gonna be a lot of shit.
We'll have a lot of fun responses.
Okay, no, dude, because like let me tell you, there's gonna be parties after the parade, and the parties are the things to go to. It's gonna be packed. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so much fun, and I'm gonna introduce you to everything.
I'm gonna meet everything.
Everything that's Pride. So like I said, we'll be there, and we're gonna give you some interviews and come out and see us. And thanks for listening. Again, I am Shawn Nicholas, aka Desire Some More, and next to me we have
Nikki Prue.
Hello, and we are Common Courtesy. And remember, guys, always have a little bit more common courtesy.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.